First question is, what is the hardest Masechta of Gemara? What is the easiest Masechta of Gemara? Which Masechta has the most Agadata? Which has the least? So the Bacher assumes that I'm a Baki B'Shas and I know exactly. I give a sack of all the Masechtas. So I have answers for 3 of the questions, not because I went through the whole Shas backwards and forwards, just because this is what I was always told. The hardest Masechtas are known to be Oni, Ayin, Nun, Yud, Eruvin, Nida, and Yevamis. That's what I heard as a child growing up, that those are the 3 hardest Masechtas. Eruvin, Nida, and Yevamis. The easiest Masechta, I always thought that it's not appropriate to say such a thing, but I heard a story recently. There was a chassid, his name was Reb Chaim Tashkenter, and he was in Yechidus once, and this time around Yitas Kislev, and the Rebbe asked him which Masechta he's taking for Yitas Kislev. So he told the Rebbe he's taking Masechta Hoyriyos, because Hoyriyos is a short Masechta. So the Rebbe told him Hoyriyos is a hard Masechta. Take Masechta Megillah, it's an easy Masechta. So according to that, I know that Hoyriyos is easy, hard, and Masechta Megillah is easy. The easiest, I don't know, but the Rebbe suggested it to him as an easy Masechta. I guess that will be considered from the easier ones. I also know that there's a
Maybe he meant by easy short.
No, Hoyriyos is even shorter. So obviously he meant short as in it's longer, but it's easier. There's also a person that I know that helps people go through Shas, and he tells them to start from Masechta Chagiga. He claims that Chagiga is easy to start from, although I personally disagree because there's a lot of Karbanis over there, but in any event, that's another opinion. The Masechta with most Agadata, the Pashtas, is Masechta Brachas, which another trivia question. Masechta Brachas is the longest Masechta. Unlike people think that Masechta Baba Basra is the longest Masechta, because Masechta Baba Basra has the most amount of blat, the most amount of pages. But the pages in Baba Basra are very small. Masechta Brachas has a lot less pages, but they're huge pages. And most of it is Agadata. And it ends up being that there's more words in Masechta Brachas than any other Masechta. Again, I don't know this because I read it, because I counted, because that's what I was told. Which Masechta has the least Agadata, I do not know. That's someone finds out, let me know. Makis? I don't know. Question, not personal, but how do you know when to wear a kapata on a Yom Pagra? There's actually a website called istareakapataday.weebly.com, and some people like checking it up. The answer is, I asked Chassidim. So when I was a Bacher, my mashpia never wore a kapata on any Yom Pagra, only on Shabbos and Yom Tov. There are people that wear kapatas on every Yom Pagra that's possible, no matter what, if it's Yud Gibel Kislev and Yud Dalet Kislev and so on, every Yom Tov, every Chiddush Yom Tov. So there are 2 reasons why these people do it. Some people do it because they have a special hargish, they feel today is a real Yom Tov, and therefore it's kedai to start wearing a kapat on this day. And some people wear it as a matter of making a statement to people around them. So I spoke to a teacher once, and he told me that he wears a kapat on all special days, so his talmidim should know that today is a special day. And that's why he wears a kapat on every day, so the kids should know today's Yud Gimel Kislev, Yud Al Kislev, Hey Tevis, whatever it might be, because it's a special Yom Tov. And then there are people that told me that in the past, the minhag Chabad was that we only wear a kapata on Yutes Chav Kislev. Those are the only days in the year that are not Shabbos and Yom Tov that the Lubavitch Chassidim would wear Shabbos clothes. So Mamela, those are the 3 shidduchs. My mashpia felt that any kind of kapata is chitzonius, meaning that on Shabbos you have to wear Shabbos clothes, because there's halach and shulchan aruch. On the Chassidus Yom Tovim, if you really feel that it's a holy day, then you should be wearing a kapata. But if you don't feel anything, what do you start wearing a kapata for? That was his hergish. But like I said, I spoke to others and they told me that the past used to be only a Teschav, and today there are svardas to do it all the time. But once you go out of what was the past minute, then it all depends on your hergation. Every person can do what he likes. And then there are people that wear kapatas all the time, which is a different discussion. What's your opinion on Ben Shapiro as a person Yid? I never met this person. I only know about him because Bachrim listened to him. My opinion is like everything else of Klipas Noiga. For some Bachrim it's very good. Instead of listening to Shtusim, they listen to him, which is a lesser level of Shtusim. And for some Bachrim it's bad. Instead of learning, they're listening to him. So my opinion is that it depends who's the Bachar listening. But him as a person, a personal person, I never met him. I can't he'll call Yisrael b'cheskas kashrus. I'm sure he's a frum Yid and he does his best to serve Hashem. Why? How do you give money for girsa if learning for money is shaloi lishma mamish? This is a Bachar asking a question. He's not here, huh? Disappeared. Oh, he is here. Oh. He's asking a question based on what it says in Tanya, that when somebody learns money, Torah shaloi lishma, meaning for a pniya, for an interest, that the Alter Rebbe gives an example to be a Talmud Chacham. When we spoke in Shir, we said that the Pashtus, someone that learns Torah for a prize, for money, is in Pashtus the same thing. What's the difference if the prize is to have honor, the prize is to have money? So if so, how can the yeshiva offer prizes for girsa, for whatever it may be? The answer would simply be that the Alter Rebbe himself says, that it's gedayif to get a person to do things for the wrong reasons, because eventually it'll get him to do it for the right reasons. And the Rambam expands on it. The Rambam says, when a child is growing, when the child is trying to learn, you're supposed to give him prizes, so this way he gets a taste for Torah, and hopefully when he gets older, he'll do it for the right reasons. So that's why we're doing it. But indeed, any bacher at the end of the year that feels that he doesn't want to be shaloi lishma, he wants to give back his check, we'll take it gladly. There is a story about Reb Zusha Anipoli. So instead of reading the whole story, I'll just say it Balpeh. This bacher is asking, there's a famous story, Reb Zusha Anipoli and Reb Elimelech Milijensk, the two holy brothers, when they would travel, they would do a lot of tikkunim. So one time they traveled to a town, and they noticed that one of the people there, his tefillin were apostle. He was an older yid, and his whole life his tefillin were apostle. So what they did was Reb Zusha wrote down a new parshas of tefillin, and these new parshas he gave it to this yid, and he gave him the koyach with the parshas that he has now. He'll be mamshich whatever he missed, and whatever it is, 40, 50 years of not putting on tefillin, he'll accomplish it all now. There's a hamshich of the story. The Barditchever once found the tefillin the ganze ma'aser. But the bacher's question is that it says in Tanya Nigeris Tshuva that when someone is over on a mitzvah loisasa, he can do tshuva and correct whatever he did wrong. But if someone doesn't do a mitzvah's essay, ha'oir ne'adar. If a person doesn't put on tefillin, a person doesn't say shema, so what he was supposed to bring down, he lost, and therefore he can't do tshuva for it. And now the Rebbe implies in the Geras tshuva that it cannot be corrected. And in this story, we see it could be corrected. So the answer is that L'Kutei Torah in Parshas Balak, Daf Ayin Gimel on the Daled, Alter Rebbe talks about what he says in the Geras tshuva, and he says it's not that it's impossible. Is that in order to fix what you did wrong, what you did not put on tefillin, so a person didn't do a mitzvah's essay, so it's a lot harder to fix that than it is to fix a mitzvah's lois essay. But even that can be corrected with the highest level of tshuva. And according to what the Rebbe says over there, it's understood that if there's a way of fixing it, so then the tzaddikim, like the Noam Elimelech and the Zusha Anipoli, with their koiches, they were able to give this year, this chuz, to be mashlim it. So b'derech klal, you have to work on your own to the highest level of tshuva, and over here the tzaddik helped them out. And Bechlal, Chassidus, so all the Avedis, the worst possible Avedis, Chassidus always says that you can do tshuva. Even when it says in Chazal, you can't do tshuva, and the Alter Rebbe always says, Dochak v'nichnas is always, there's never such a thing that a person should say that I'm too lost, I can't fix it, I can't correct it. He says, from now on, a person should never do an Aveda with the cheshbon that I'm going to do tshuva afterwards. But whatever happened in the past, no matter how bad a person was, the worst possible things, Torah Bechlal, and especially Chassidus, always tells him there's always ways of doing tshuva. Can we have Seder nap time?
No.
Huh?
We do.
We do. We do. Most Magidei Shiurim, besides me, allow you to sleep in shir. So just make sure you go to my shir. What do you think of Zamir Cohen and his books?
Who's Zamir?
Zamir Cohen wrote a number of books. He writes books on the science and Torah. So, on the one hand, I shouldn't be saying anything because Amir Cohen has a tremendous chusim which I don't have, and that is because he has a chus. He's mekarev, if not hundreds and thousands or tens of thousands into Yiddishkeit. So my opinion is really irrelevant. But the bacher is asking me for it. So my only issue is that he brings in his books a lot of inyanim from Kabbalah. And for someone to go and teach Kabbalah to the masses is not okay, especially that he takes things from Chassidus but does not quote Chassidus. So his whole approach to Chassidus is a bit disturbing. It's not terrible. Maybe some people would say it's terrible, but it's disturbing, his approach to Kabbalah and Chassidus. So that's an issue that I have, but I'm a small person. But on the other hand, I see that he has a tremendous chus. He's the kind of tons of people to Yiddishkeit. His actual book, The Coming Revolution, I realized that the big success of his book, as babyish as it seems, but this is what it is. The success of his book is his pictures. You look at the book. What takes, if you take all the text and put it in a regular book, you can find books from Aryeh Kaplan that probably do a lot better job. His Pashi has tons of pictures. He has a picture over there. One of the things over there is about a professor that was Megala, something about how the Bris Milah, the seventh day, is the most best thing. That professor happened to learn at the University in Madison, Wisconsin. So he has a beautiful page of a picture of University of Madison, Wisconsin. I understand you can't make a picture of the Bris, say that, but still. A lot of his pictures are not negeh, but people, it's a chush that he has. He chaps a pel mamish, and you do that. Oh, with amo, okay, fine. It opens your eyes. I learned from him a lesson when I give my slideshows. When there's animal shiurim also. Even basic pictures, I know it's no chidushim, but just it catches your eye. So B'Pel Mamish, his crowd that he's targeting are people that are becoming from, and he has a tremendous chus. He's Makar of thousands, like I said, not tens of thousands. He has a TV channel in Eretz Yisrael, and he has people speaking. He brings Lubavitchers on the show as well. That they speak and they teach Tanya there. So he's definitely doing his best to be Makar of into Yiddishkeit. There's tremendous chusim, and any hardest that I have are Mamish insignificant. Does Chassidischkeit override halacha in any area? If yeah, why? If not, why do people act like that and say stuff like that? So the answer is no. Chassidus will not override halacha in any area. The thing is that there are sometimes different opinions in halacha, and Chassidus will stress one opinion. Sometimes that opinion can even seemingly be a b'diavad. The example we spoke last week or 2 weeks ago about Shalosh Shudas on Shabbos. Shalosh Shudas on Shabbos, so al pi halacha you must have Shalosh Shudas. There's no option not to. But al pi halacha is the best way to al pi halacha l'chatchila is to wash and have a mitzi. And with the Yevid, you can rely on having a snack or something else. So over here, the Chassidus tells us we can rely on the opinion that says it's enough to have a snack. But to go completely against Allah, Chassidus will never do. Why do people act like that? If not, so why do people act like that and say stuff like that? It's because of Yenika Sachitzoinim. Unfortunately, people that don't really know. So when it comes to Chassidus, there's a